The outpost on Kepler-4 was burning. From the ridge, Commander Val of the Talari Dominion watched helplessly as the enemy, a swarm of chittering Vernet drones, breached the final wall. Screams echoed through the air as plasma fire lit the night. Like a twisted aurora. They had held for as long as they could, but the Vernic were endless. He tapped his comms. Dominion Command, this is outpost data. We have lost control. We need reinforcements. Repeat, we need immediate reinforcements, or Kepler-4 is lost. Static dot, then a reply. Reinforcements inbound, ETA, 6 hours. Hold position. 6 hours? Vol hissed. We'll be ashen too. But he had no choice. He relayed the message, knowing the morale of his remaining soldiers would sink even further. They waited. They fought. They fell. 5 hours and 55 minutes later, the sky screamed. A deafening boom shook the air as a drop cruiser tore through the atmosphere. But it wasn't Dominion tech. No golden filigree, no ceremonial markings. It was angular black and covered in armor plating that looked more like it had been welded and raised in design. Commander Val frowned. "Who the void is that?" A reply came, gruff and human. "This is the UN's Blackhound. We got your distress call. Hope you brought body bags?" For them. The humans? The Deathworlders. Val stared as the ship's massive ramp crashed to the ground. And they emerged. 7 of them. Only 7. Each clad in exo armor that hissed and pulsed with some unknown power source. Their visors glowed crimson. The smallest among them was still larger than any Talari. One carried a gun that looked like it belonged on a tank. Another simply flexed metal-clad fists, like he didn't need a weapon. "Are these the reinforcements?" asked Sub-Officer Kess. In disbelief, Val replied quietly, "I think they are." Without a word, the humans strode past them toward the battlefield. One knelt briefly beside a Talari corpse, whispered something, then stood and kept walking. Val followed, unsure what to expect. They didn't set up command posts. They didn't request intel. They didn't ask for tactics. They simply charged. The Vernic noticed too late. The moment the humans entered the fray, the tide changed. The big one with the rotary cannon spun it to life, shredding lines of drones in seconds. The one with twin plasma blades danced among the Vernic like death itself, carving through hardened carapace like wet cloth. The one with no weapons? He tore through enemies with his hands, ripping limbs, throwing bodies into others, roaring like a predator let loose. "They're insane," whispered Kess. "No," Val murmured. "They're human." The battlefield turned to slaughter. Vernic that had overrun fortified bunkers now fled like prey. One tried to escape underground, only to be pulled out screaming by a human, who had leapt into the tunnel after it got 6 hours after the initial call. The battlefield was silent. The fires died down. Smoke still choked the air, but the Vernic were gone, scattered or dead. Val approached the humans as they regrouped near the drop cruiser. He cleared his throat. "Commander Val, Dominion. I don't know what to say." The lead human, a woman with a jagged scar across her cheek and a cigarette behind her ear, removed her helmet. "Then don't say anything. We're just glad to help." "You were only 7, Kess said, voice trembling. "How?" the human smirked. "You asked for reinforcements. What you got were Deathworlders." Val blinked. "So the stories are true. Earth is a death world," the human confirmed. "Gravity that crushes weaker species. Weather that kills in hours. Creatures that hunt for sport. Plants that poison for fun. And we thrived in it." She lit the cigarette. "You fight bugs. We grew up fighting nature itself." Val looked at the battlefield, the broken husks, the melted craters, the precision chaos, and believed every word. "What's your unit called?" He asked Dot. She smiled. "Project Cerberus." Then she turned and boarded her ship. The rest followed silently, one of them carrying a wounded Talari. Medic in his arms like a child. As the ramp closed, the engines roared back to life. Within minutes, The drop cruiser vanished into the sky, leaving nothing behind but stunned silence and the scent of scorched ozone. Hours later, the Dominion's High Council convened. "They sent 7?" one whispered. "Just 7 humans?" "And they annihilated an army of Vernac drones," another replied, effortlessly. "Perhaps," said a voice from the shadows, "it's time we stopped calling them primitive." A long pause followed. Then came the inevitable conclusion. Earth is no longer to be monitored. Earth is to be feared.